So welcome guys, a lot to go through today. So the crazy grooming scandal in the UK has blown up thanks to Elon Musk. Thank God for this guy. He is literally lighting the woke on fire. He's a one-man band. He did it in America, he's doing it in Germany, and now he's doing it in the UK. And so amazingly, thank God for this guy. He's untouchable. Starmer, with his weaponized police, with his weaponized judiciary, with his total tyrannical control, totalitarian state of the UK, cannot touch this guy, cannot touch the world's richest man. He cannot touch him. And Elon is going for him every single minute. I'm telling you, it must have been yesterday, 10 posts about this grooming scandal. And it's getting huge attention, obviously not by the BBC, Sky News, Channel 4, the legacy media, which is just MSM, fake propaganda run by Starmer himself. It's just a government puppet propaganda piece. Anyone who watches that, I'm sorry, you're a disgrace if you watch the BBC. Let me just tell you, you are a disgrace and you're part of the problem. Let me just put that out there. You're a disgrace. You should not be watching it, okay? It's propaganda. Stop it. Now they won't cover this, but this grooming scandal is the most shocking scandal, obviously brought to light by Tommy Robinson. And there's another thing we have to say about that. Interview by Nigel Farage by GB News. And they asked him, Nigel, what's the thing with Tommy? And he's like, well, Tommy wasn't the only, he's not in prison because of the grooming scandal. He's in prison because of contempt of court. Sorry, Nigel. He's in prison because of contempt of court because he brought to light the first time because of the grooming gangs. Because he went and brought up the grooming gangs and went and came near these disgusting people, he was put in jail. And the second time for another film on the same type of material. So please, guys, we have to worry as well about Nigel Farage. He is the best option out there, but he is nowhere near the AfD in Germany. He's nowhere near Le Pen. He is a very weak, watered down, you'd expect this, a weak, watered down, mushy liberal. If you can't support Tommy, who's been jailed incorrectly, absolutely disgustingly, then you're also part of the problem, I'm afraid, Nigel. Anyway, back to what's happening with the grooming gangs. This is a problem that was highlighted by Tommy many years ago. It's about 15 years old. This is not new. You understand, this is not new. I've seen some of the testimony. It's from the 80s, some of them. Some of them from Oldham from the 80s. And it still was never got the attention it deserved. Oldham eventually said, we can't deal with this because we're totally compromised. Our entire council is full of these people, you know who. The Asians. Why do they just call them Eskimos? Why do they just call them, I don't know. It's got nothing to do with Asians, right? Let's be clear. It's due to one religion, the religion of peace. The one that's so peaceful that it causes all this problem. So the religion of peace adherents, they're the ones who caused it. They're not Asians. Please don't insult Hindus. Please don't insult Sikhs, whose girls themselves were also abused by these monsters, right? By their imams covering up for them, by their mosques not saying a word. Even now, where are we hearing anything from these people? Where's the leaders of the Asians, right? Where are they? They're nowhere to be heard because they're all in on it together. They all cover for each other. They're all the same. I'm a British MP. We've got Bangladeshi British MP. She's actually the head of the anti-corruption unit. I forgot her name. Labour's anti-corruption unit. She got a second house from her aunt, who was the dictator of Bangladesh. Dictator of Bangladesh gave her a second home. She used it, didn't pay any rent. That is a bribe. Didn't disclose it. She's the head of the anti-corruption unit. Labour have said, we back her fully. The UK is a tyrannical, corrupt, beyond corrupt despot. Just to give it to you, just for you to see how bad things are, I will give you Constantine. Here you go.
In Russia last year, 400 people were arrested for things that they said on social media. 400 people in Russia. Obviously, this country is very different. How many people do you think were arrested in Britain for things they said on social media last year?
Go on.
Take a guess.
I've no idea.
3,300.
Really? Arrested for what they'd said on social media?
Yeah.
Really? What sort of things get you
Well,
arrested?
one example I give in my show is there was a young woman from Liverpool called Chelsea Russell. Her friend was killed in a car crash, 19-year-old woman. And she posted the lyrics of his favorite song on her Instagram, the lyrics. And there was a rap song, so the lyrics contained several instances of the N-word. Okay? She was arrested, prosecuted, found guilty, given 500 hours of community service and a fine, tagged, and for a year she was under 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. curfew.
My goodness.
In Britain.
In Britain.
In 2018.
But it's crazy. Like, he had one hand on.
So as you can see, the UK totally jailing tyranny, totalitarian, psychotic. So we have this grooming scandal brought to light by Tommy Robinson 15 years ago, shunned, put in jail for 18 months for daring to talk about it, right? That's what happened to him. Anyone who spoke out about it got jailed. We have another one, beautiful, you should have seen him, Rotherham. Labour Rotherham councillor on the Rotherham council, forgot his name again. He brought out that there are 30 abuses of children in Rotherham. Every quarter. That's on their books. It's a fact. And he was pointing that out in the council. And he said, that's 120 a year. What are we doing about it? Immediately, got a knock on the door by the police. Come with us. We're booking you in. We can't tell you who told you, because this is what happens with the new hate crime laws in the UK. They don't have to tell you who's accused you of anything. It's really just the government and the state and the police, their Stasi. It's basically the same as the Gestapo, same thing. They tell him, we are now writing a non-crime hate crime against you because people have said you've offended them by bringing this up. Bringing up a fact, you've offended them. So he was put in jail, put in a cell, obviously charged with a non-crime hate crime, and went home. That's a Labour councillor for bringing up the truth. Now, who the person who complained about him? Obviously no one. It's the government. It's the government. They don't have to tell you who accused you. You don't have to go to court. It's the government. Now, the next thing. How many people there? How many fathers tried to get hold of their daughters from these grooming gangs? They went to the door. The police arrested them. There's one father, he was arrested by the police. He was told, don't go near them. You have a restraining order from that place. He goes, I'm going to get my daughter out. You're not allowed to go in there. You do. He went again. They took him in again. And I promise you, they were waiting there. There was a van waiting there for him to come, knock on the door. Immediately, they came out and they took him. This is a father trying to save his daughter from these gangs. Another case. We have a case of a girl after being abused. Serious, right? You know what I'm saying. She got really abused. She came back on a bus. She couldn't pay the bus. She was in a care home. Sorry. She was in a care home. She came back on the bus. She came back to the care home, bleeding, whatever. And she said, I can't pay for the fare. They go, well, we can't help you here. We're not here, to give you money. They left her outside. Who came to pick her up? Her perpetrators. Took her back. Round 2. I'm telling you, these are actual stories. It's not duty of care. It's just the cover-up of the whole thing from top to bottom. Who is in charge of the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service? It is Starmer. People wanted just this week. This is what Elon Musk is going on about. Just this week, they're like, please, can we prosecute Keir Starmer for not prosecuting these people? No, Labour quashed it. Not allowed to prosecute him. We're not going to allow you to prosecute the guy who was clearly meant to be in charge of prosecution. This is how corrupt it is. Back to Oldham. Oldham Council, the whole thing why this is blown up, Oldham Council has been begging. They're saying, we're totally compromised. We have one of our officers, part of Oldham Council, who was one of the people, one of the perpetrators. I think he was still employed for a while as well. But anyway, he was definitely part of it. We cannot do it. We're totally compromised. Please, government, hold an inquiry. Labour just said, no, we're not going to allow an inquiry. We don't want this to blow up. We don't want an inquiry. We don't want an independent inquiry, even though we're talking about thousands and thousands of girls being the biggest scandal in the UK ever. You're dealing with stupid little things in the UK, but like Tommy Robinson, contempt of court, 18 months. or the Southport, some guy went and tweeted something wrong, 3 years, but this thing we don't want to talk about. Then you have the Conservatives. This is hilarious. Kenny, the absolute shill, going, yes, we need a national inquiry. You were in charge for 14 years. In fact, Oldham asked you in 2022, please, let's have a national inquiry, and you rejected it. The Conservatives rejected it as well. It's a uni party. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Don't blame Starmer. Don't blame Kerry. They're all the same. They're a uni party. They're the same thing. Don't you another, if you dare vote Conservative, you're a disgrace. They're just as bad, if not worse, because they lie. At least the Labour are straight up corrupt and just tell you to your face. This is where the state of the UK is. Little innocent kids still could be done just for the sake of political correctness. They don't want to disturb this very aggressive, very dominant sect, the Asians. Let's keep calling them the Asians, right? The Asian religion of peace adherents. They don't want to offend them, and so that's why we've got it. We have the Manchester. Remember Manchester just a few weeks ago where they beat up the police officer, gave one police officer, police lady, a black eye. Not that I mind because I hate them and they deserve it, because these people, the police, are the ones who are knocking on people's doors. They are the ones. Please don't give it to the police. Oh, they're so not at fault. The police, it's not their fault. You know, they're just obeying orders. Isn't that what the Gestapo said? Just obeying orders. Yeah, well, then you're just as culpable. Please. Anyway, she got a black eye by these Asians religions of peace adherents. And what do they do? What have they done in Manchester? Nothing. Not being prosecuted. The state, the UK, will not prosecute the Asians against this woman, against the hitting a police officer. It is just not going to happen. The Crown prosecution will not do it. They will have them outside the police office. It's happened before. It happened as well with this. They came, the adherents from their mosque came outside the police officer, release him now. They were released immediately. It's mob rule in the UK. And the power at the moment, the whites in power at the moment are so weak, so feckless, so embarrassingly pathetic. They're not dealing with it. And that's why this grooming scandal, they're trying to quash it. But Elon Musk will not let them. It's hilarious. He will not let them get away with it. They're trying to quash it. They did everything. They've jailed every single person who spoke about it, has been jailed. But they cannot get rid of it. It's just, and obviously their mouthpieces, propaganda mouthpieces, BBC and all that won't talk about it. But everyone's talking about it. And as long as Elon keeps on doing it, and remember this guy, richest guy in the world, and most followers on Twitter, he is destroying them one by one. He has just destroyed them. People now see them for what they are, just a corrupt bunch of scum, more corrupt than any Putin, and more corrupt than China. You got the corruption on their CVs. You just think about Starmer. I just want you to think about Starmer. This guy, right, has survived bribing, not allegations, actual took bribes. His treasury, his chancellor actually lied on her CV. We've got terrorist infiltration that he cover up in Southport. It's coming up. A terrorist that he covered up and pretended it was a Christian, little young, sweet Christian child. You've got this grooming gang that he's trying to cover up. And he's untouchable. This guy's Teflon. Boris got kicked out for Partygate, for being at a party, for not condemning the party enough. He got kicked out. But Starmer can survive grooming gangs, backing up terrorists, taking bribes. And it's incredible. This guy is Teflon. And as I've said, all the Klaus Wef puppets are Teflon. So we're dealing with Trudeau. Also, absolutely hated in Canada. Nothing. Every day I'm getting, he's going to resign. He's not resigning. He doesn't care. He's Teflon. Macron. My gosh, he doesn't even have a government in France. There is no government. The Prime Minister has to change every time because there's no confidence. Votes every single time because there is no government. You cannot pass a law there. Macron, doesn't matter. Still in charge till 2027. Every WEF Klaus puppet doesn't care. This can keep going. The pillaging of these thousands of young innocent girls, No one cares. Starmer doesn't care. The media doesn't. No one cares. You are in a tyrannical, worse than Russia, worse than China, hellhole. That is the UK. And thank God for Elon Musk. Keep going. It makes my day. It really does make my day. So thank God for him. But this is just the disgrace that is the UK.